Hello, Joe Mitchell here. How are you tonight, today, this morning, good evening? So, it's Tuesday here, and I just wanted to switch things up a little bit. Like yesterday, we spent a lot of time doing some very powerful tapping, and it was really, really useful. And what I want to do is I want to change things up a little bit and go to more of a strategetic focus today. So less, we may do a little tapping, maybe. But mostly what I want to focus on is something that Tim Ferriss said that was very interesting to me. And it kind of caught my attention and said, this is something that I really would like to bring to people so that they can kind of use it along with tapping, because tapping goes right hand in hand with this. But it's a strategy though. And here's the strategy. Define your fears instead of your goals. So the first thing you want to do when you're going for big goals is you want to think about what it is that you would like to accomplish. And then define your fears around that thing. What is it that you're afraid of? And how is that going to play out? And what is it going to cost you? Tim Ferriss said that this procedure was the source of his achieving some of his biggest goals, is looking at what are the fears that are keeping him from reaching those goals, and really looking at them. And when you really looked at them, he saw that there was stuff that a lot of it is internal. A lot of it is internal, and a lot of it can be imaginary. But you also thinking, well, what will happen if you let yourself succumb to those fears? And then what he did was he focused on, well, if the worst happened, how would he deal with it? And what would he do? So Tim Ferriss was very focused outside of himself. And what I'm suggesting to us is that we focus inside of ourselves through tapping. So that we look at, well, what are these fears that are keeping me from my big goals? What are the things that are stopping me, that are freezing me, that are having me be not in action, not powerful? And then when we really define those things, and I would suggest that you put them on paper, then what we do is, you're right, we tap. We tap on them. And what this does is this lowers the intensity of our feelings, of our fears. So it's kind of like it lowers, can you imagine lowering your fears to the point where you can kick its butt? You just kick your fear in the butt and say, get out of here, fear, because you ain't nothing to me. Well, that's what tapping can allow you to do, is tap on the things that are holding you back until their power is diminished enough so that you can just walk right on by and do your thing. So here's the big question. What are your big goals? And what are the fears that are keeping you from those goals? And if you don't solve those fears, if you don't get over those fears, what is it going to cost you? It's a nice little thing. I mean, Tim Ferriss is a really smart guy, and I really like the way that he's looking at this, because most of us who are trying to be very positive, and even yesterday I was showing you how to use tapping to bring out the positive. But today I'm telling you, tapping is amazing for the negative, for those fears, for reducing those fears to a point where you can handle them. So I reduce my fears. I think about my fears as I tap, and I reduce them. I reduce my fears. I'm not afraid of my fears anymore, because I tap on them. and I tap them away. I'm not afraid of my fears anymore. I tap on them and I tap them away. I'm not afraid of these fears anymore. They're getting less and less. Sure, they're hard to handle sometimes. But as I define them, as I focus on them, as I tap on them, I become stronger. They become weaker. And I win. So that's our thought for the day. Thank you so much for listening. And I hope that you will think about going to my site, activateyourgreatness.com, and getting 2 free chapters of my book, The Art of Joyful Achieving. So thank you so much for listening again, and we will see you tomorrow at 7. Same time, same bat time, same bat channel. Be well.